2024 is here, which means it's time to once again look at some young talented players who could shake things up on the women's tour. I made a video exactly like this last year, so players like Chinwen Zhang, Linda Noskova, Shiyu Wang, and Alicia Parks will not be mentioned again in this video. Starting us off at number 8 is 22-year-old American Hailey Baptiste, who is currently 10 spots below her career high of 119 in the world. Baptiste made her WTA Tour main draw debut in 2019 at her home tournament, the DC City Open, beating world number 17 Madison Keys. Hailey was unable to build on her breakthrough 2019 season due to the coronavirus pandemic pausing play in 2020 when Baptiste became a full-time pro. The DC native has reached 2 Slam second rounds as a qualifier, her latest coming at the 2022 Australian Open. Unfortunately, Baptiste has been plagued with numerous injuries throughout her young career, holding her back from achieving more major success. Baptiste said herself, if she can get healthy and comfortable, she can be one of the best in the sport. We saw some of that potential at the DC City Open last year when Baptiste received a last-minute wild card into the qualifying round. The 22-year-old took down Alicia Parks and Peyton Stearns to make the main draw, where she then claimed her second career top 50 win over Karolina Pliskova in the opening round. Baptiste got another victory over the Czech a month later in the Guadalajara 1000, which was her first WTA 1000 round of 16 appearance. I watched Hailey play live in DC and I was really impressed with her game. It's very different from what we typically see on the WTA Tour. She has smooth ground strokes and loves to run around and dictate with that forehand. She also has a lot of touch with the slices, drop shots, and strong volleying skills. Hailey reminds me a lot of Ons Jabeur actually, and I can see her having a similar career trajectory to the Tunisians and being a bit of a late bloomer, but doing very well in the latter stages. I think those runs in DC and Guadalajara will do wonders for Hailey's confidence. If she can remain healthy, I can for sure see Baptiste racking up some more ITF titles, 125 titles, and even break inside the top 100 for the first time. At number 7 is 16-year-old Czech Brenda Fruhvirtova, who's currently 1 spot below her career high of 109 in the world. Brenda is the younger sister of Linda Fruhvirtova, who was ranked 85th and actually made my Rising WTA Players to Watch in 2023 list. Currently the second youngest ranked player in the top 150, Brenda doesn't have that much experience on the main tour. Still, she's not short of any confidence, beating a lot of low-ranked players on the ITF Tour. Fruhvirtova claimed 4 of her last 5 ITF tournaments to round out 2023. The Czech has made a solid start to her 2024 campaign, notching her first WTA main draw victory in Auckland and the 250 there, beating world number 48 Anna Blinkova. Fruhvirtova faced Coco Gauff the following round, which is when I really took the chance to watch her compete for the first time. I was pretty impressed by the youngster. She had a solid ground game and isn't afraid to step into the court and go for her shots. She really took it to Gauff in the earlier part of that match, getting a break by simply out-hitting the top seed from the ground. However, experience won out in the end as Fruhvirtova simply could not sustain that bigger ball striking for much longer. I picture Fruhvirtova will be one of the biggest movers ranking-wise by the end of 2024. I think the Czech will have a similar breakout season like her sister Linda did in 2022. Brenda qualified for 2 slams last year at the Australian Open and Roland Garros, falling in the opening round of both. She'll start her journey for that first major main draw win this week when she competes in the Australian Open qualies. Our 6th rising player to watch, Diana Shnaider, did make some waves on the main tour in 2023, shooting to her career high of number 60 in the world. Shnaider won 2 girls doubles titles at the 2021 Wimbledon Championships and at the 2022 Australian Open. Diana made some big waves on the Pro Tour in the following Aussie Open when she nearly toppled 6-seed Maria Sakkari in the second round. The 19-year-old Russian reminds me a lot of Angelique Kerber, and not just because she wears Adidas and uses the Yonex racket. Diana has similar flat groundies, which she looks to take on the rise and redirect down the line. She's very athletic too. Just look at this incredible on-the-run forehand winner. Shnaider cracked the top 100 after Australia, but she made the interesting decision to step back and play 1 season of college tennis for North Carolina State, going 20-3 in singles. Throughout her freshman season, Shnaider still managed to rack up some WTA victories, notably beating 13th ranked Veronika Kudermetova at the Charleston 500. The lefty then made her second consecutive slam second round when she suffered another close defeat, falling to eventual semifinalist Beatrice Haddad-Maia. Shnaider turned pro in the summer but made some strong strides towards the end of the season during the Asian swing. The 19-year-old reached her first tour final at the Ningbo 250, ousting Petra Kvitova en route for her second career top 15 win. Princess Diana then reached the Final Four at the Zhangji Open, boosting her to a career high of 60 in the world. Shnaider honestly had an excellent debut pro season. While she'll be disappointed to lose those two close slam matches, the fact that she had the experience of even going up against those players like the game's best is very huge. She'll take away so much confidence from those tight matches. The next step or goal for Diana should be getting more scalps at these big tournaments. She has the game, but it comes down to experience and match fitness as she transitions to this higher level. Now, my fifth woman, Ashlyn Krueger, has been flying under the radar big time, but made significant strides at the end of 2023. The 19-year-old American reached her career high of number 73 in the world after storming to her first tour title at the Osaka 250, not dropping a set en route. Krueger actually became the first American team to crack the top 100 after that run since Coco Gauff. Like Gauff, Krueger achieved early success as a junior, winning the Orange Bowl International twice. The American made her slam main draw debut at the US Open in 2021 in both singles and doubles after sweeping the USTA Hardcourt Nationals. 2023 was a huge stepping stone for Ashlyn, who started the year ranked 183rd playing ITF qualies. Everything changed for the American at the Alabama 250, where she not only secured her first maiden tour main draw win, but earned her first top 20 victory when she ousted Victoria Azarenka in the round of 16. Krueger used that momentum and soared to a WTA 125 title in Italy the following week, which was her biggest title at that point. Those two tournaments then of course propelled her to the Osaka title, where she toppled top seed and world number 35 Lin Zhu in the final. Krueger is an overall well-rounded player. She has a decent serve, very solid ground strokes, and has great court awareness with her willingness to venture forward when she has her opponent in trouble. She's very reminiscent of Jessica Pegula, as there aren't any glaring weaknesses in the young American's game. Ashlyn always had the talent, but she just needed to get over the hump and get that first tour main draw win. To do that though, and then win your first WTA Tour title 2 months later, is incredible. Krueger practically isn't defending any notable points for the first half of the season either, so if she continues on this trajectory, she could surely crack the top 50. Winning a few rounds in the majors and other bigger tournaments would be a big help in this. France's Clara Burel takes the 4th spot on this countdown, the 22-year-old currently sitting at one spot below her career high of number 51. I've seen Burel's name pop up quite a few times at these bigger tournaments, most notably at the US Open, where she upset top-ranked opposition. In 2022, Burel toppled reigning Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina, and in the following year she took down Karolina Pliskova. Burel was sent packing in the 3rd round though by Aryna Sabalenka both years. In 2020, Clara reached her first slam round of 32 at her home major, Roland Garros, becoming the youngest French woman to do so since Elisa Cornet in 2008. Burel has reached 2 WTA Tour finals, both coming at the Lausanne 250 in 2021 and 2023 respectively. The 22-year-old is coming into 2024 high on confidence, claiming her maiden 125 at home in France at the end of 2023. I recently saw Burel play in Brisbane, where she reached the round of 16, and I was impressed by her solid ground game. The former junior world number 1 is an excellent mover around the court too, and can cover a lot of ground. Her game is probably best suited for the clay, but she can perform well on all surfaces. I can see Clara getting more early round upsets in the bigger tournaments this season. If she manages to get a top 15 or top 10 win, that'll be huge for her confidence and growth as a player. I definitely think Burel will crack the top 50 and perhaps be a seed at one of the final 3 slams of the season. Now, the final 3 women on this countdown also made my top most improved WTA players of 2023 list, which I know many of y'all did not watch. Anyways, first we have American Peyton Stearns, ranked 48th in the world, 5 below her career high of 43. The NCAA singles champion had a breakout 2023 season, which saw her rise 160 spots in the rankings. In addition to racking up some hardware on the ITF circuit, the the 22-year-old made some big strides on the big stages. Stearns picked up her biggest win rankings-wise at Roland Garros, beating former champion Elena Ostapenko before losing in the third round. At the US Open, Stearns pushed Wimbledon champion Vondrousova to the brink after reaching her maiden slam second week. Stearns' game is big, and her main weapon, the forehand, is one of the deadliest on tour when it's on. Peyton likes to play with a lot of topspin and go toe-to-toe with opponents from the back of the court. She'll be most lethal on the clay, where she reached her first WTA Tour final at the Bogota 250. Right now, the American is in a bit of a rough patch, losing 5 of her last 6 matches. Although I'm a bit worried that Stearns will experience somewhat of a sophomore slump this year, I'm certain that she'll have some big moments out there and continue to build on her game. When she's playing at a high level, Peyton can give many top players a run for their money. I'd like to see her earn a couple of big top 10 or 15 victories to make her presence more known amongst these higher ranked women. At number 2 is perhaps the most expected player on this countdown, Mirra Andreeva. 16-year-old Andreeva is not only the youngest player on this countdown, but she's also the youngest in the entire top 100. Although Andreeva has yet to crack the top 40, she's garnered a lot of hype and attention, recently earning the WTA Newcomer of the Year honor. Mirra opened her 2023 with a heartbreaking loss in the Australian Open Girls Final. She picked up the pieces pretty nicely during the clay season, winning back-to-back ITF 60Ks before earning her first 2 top 20 wins at the Madrid 1000. Andreeva made her slam main draw debut at Roland Garros, coming through qualies, before losing to Coco Gauff in the third round. At Wimbledon, Andreeva once again qualified but went a round further to make her first slam second week. Andreeva could only play a handful of tournaments due to the tour's age eligibility rules, so we didn't see as much of her towards the end of last year. She did have a solid showing at the China Open, making her second 1000 round of 16 after beating world number 12 Barbora Krejcikova. I've said this before, but I'm always astounded by Andreeva's high tennis IQ whenever she competes. She holds her own from the ground, but knows the exact perfect moment to where she needs to pull the trigger. Andreeva also doesn't seem to be intimidated from facing players nearly twice her age either. It looks like she belongs despite not even playing a full year out there on the pros. Mirra is already proving that last year was no fluke either. She had a stellar start to her 2024 campaign, reaching the quarterfinals in Brisbane. There she picked up her 5th top 20 victory, crushing Ludmila Samsonova 6-2, 6-1. Barring injury or any other outside factor, I'm confident Andreeva will break inside the top 20 in 2024. Before I highlight the final young WTA star, I wanted to briefly mention other players who I expect to make considerable jumps in the rankings. First is Andreeva's older sister, Erica Andreeva. The elder Andreeva made some solid pushes in the latter part of 2023, making 2 WTA 125 finals. I expect the 19-year-old to crack the top 100 at some part this year. 21-year-old German Eva Lees also had a solid end to her 2023, reaching her maiden tour semifinal at the Transylvania Open. There she claimed her biggest career victory, ousting world number 26 Sorana Cirstea. 19-year-old American Robert Montgomery experienced early success at the juniors, winning the US Open Girls title. The JTCC trainee earned her first tour win in 2023 and has been rising up the ranks as she picks up more wins on the lower level ITFs and 125s. Look for this big hitting lefty to earn a new career high in 2024. 17-year-old Clara Burel is going to be one of the biggest rankings movers in my book this year. The Wimbledon Girls champion is still searching for her maiden tour main draw win, but she showed her incredible potential, beating world number 37 Anna Blinkova in the qualies at the DC City Open. Clara received a wildcard into the 2023 US Open main draw, and while she didn't perform her best there, I expect big success from the American as she plays more pro tourneys this season. And then 21-year-old Chinese woman Zhou Zhangbai, I'm sorry for butchering your name, Miss Bai, has quietly shot up the rankings to 87 in the world after claiming 2 ITF 100Ks at the end of last year. Bai made her slam main draw debut at the 2023 Wimbledon Championships, losing to eventual finalist Ons Jabeur in the second round. And finally, my last young women's player to watch for in 2024 is 22-year-old American Emma Navarro. Navarro is currently enjoying a career high ranking of 31 in the world. Emma had one of the biggest ranking rises on tour in 2023, going from outside the top 140 to inside the top 40. The Charleston native can accredit this to her success on the ITF Tour, where she picked up 5 titles last season. Navarro's WTA Tour level gains came towards the end of 2023, where she reached the San Diego semifinals, beating Maria Sakkari for her first career top 10 win. I was not very optimistic about Emma's 2024 prospects in my most improved players video, but I was pleasantly surprised watching her play in Auckland this past week, where she lost in the semifinals to champion Coco Gauff. The girl's game is solid, I'm not gonna lie. There's no big holes in her game, and she's a good athlete too, being able to track down a lot of balls. I'm interested to see how Navarro performs in the bigger tournaments, because while she got some solid victories in Auckland, those players weren't some of the best of the best. Gauff was a big step up in class, and I'm not sure if Navarro can consistently challenge these top 10 or top 15 level players. However, I do believe she can finesse her way into a Slam second week or into a 1000 quarterfinal. The American will be seeded for the year's first major in Melbourne too, so that's a great opportunity for her to rise even higher in the rankings. That's all I have for this countdown, and let me know which of these players you think will have the most successful 2024. Also, feel free to comment any other rising stars that I may have missed in this one. Make sure y'all subscribe too and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post more content like this. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian Bass Knight, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.